I was just watching this live stream with Tim Green where he goes over his sub for Vacation to Life.
Yeah, as well. It's really simple. I think it's like 4 notes or something. Just repeating.
Okay, so here I've copied down the MIDI, and the first version here is in analog. I'll just show you all three, and you can tell me which one you think sounds the closest to the original. This is analog. Serum. And Diva. In my opinion, I would say Serum sounds the best. It's that little transient at the beginning with the pitch attack that I couldn't really nail down on the other two synths as nicely as it comes through on Serum, and that's really important for the sub to kind of punch through the mix. Alright, so let's go over how it was done in analog. So I'm just going to turn off the filter, and we're starting off with just an oscillator here, oscillator 1. You can switch off oscillator 2. And we're just using a saw wave here, so you can set that to saw if it isn't already set, and that's how this will sound. It might not sound exactly like this because your pitch envelope might be set to 0, so it might be set to 0% like this, in which case that's the sound that you have. Your amp envelope also might not be fully sustained, it might be something like this. So you just have to go in and make that fully sustained. And then we have to go on to oscillator 1 and increase the envelope initial to 100% and the time here to 16%. Go too high, it gets too lasery. So yeah, 16% was the sweet spot. Then we turn on the filter and we put it to low pass 24 and bring the frequency down to 30. You need to set the envelope to 3.25, the sustain to 0.67, decay to 263, and then you'll get this sound. Super simple. Okay, the next one is Serum, and in Serum how you make it is, I did it here with a triangle wave and a saw wave. Let me just turn off the filter, and we'll go here into the matrix and turn down the tuning and the filter cutoff. So that's the initial sound that you get when you mix a triangle wave and a saw wave. And with the envelope shape here, I gave it a little bit of, it's got a 0.5 millisecond attack to prevent any clicking, and then a little bit of release to also give the tail a slightly natural release. If it cuts off instantly, it can feel a bit like robotic and unnatural. Okay, then what we're doing is we're using envelope 2 to achieve that pitch attack. So bringing the sustain all the way down to 0 and the decay all the way down to 50 milliseconds, we can then map that to the master tuning, and you do that in the matrix here. So over here you click on envelope 2, and then on destination you go down to global master tuning, and then we just bring this knob up to, I think it was around about 16, and then just make sure your output is up, and then you start to get that nice pitch attack. Again, if you bring the decay up too high on envelope 2, it becomes too much, so just make sure it's down at around 50 milliseconds here. And you can always dial that in if you don't like the amount of pitch. You can bring down the output, which I think is what I did. Okay, and then the next thing is the filter cutoff. So here we're using this Moog low pass 18. We got the cutoff here at 145 Hertz. A little bit of drive, 14%, and the fat at 61%, and that sounds like this. But now we want the envelope to open just ever so slightly so that we can hear a little bit more of the transient. So we're mapping envelope 2, again, that really short pitch decay, to the cutoff. So you just drag this over onto the cutoff. And then here we can see in the matrix, I've turned down the output all the way, but we can bring that back up. And then we get that nice pitch attack. Okay, so in Diva, how we achieve the sound is here we're using again a triangle and a saw wave, and we're bringing down the cutoff filter all the way. If I open that up, it sounds like this. And without the tuning. So how we achieve the tuning here is we've got envelope 2, which is mapped to the tune mod, and you just need to enable all of these switches here. That is just each one is mapped to each oscillator's pitch, and so because we're using 2 oscillators, I just turned them all on, and then you can just start to turn that up. And if your envelope shape over here has the sustain all the way up, it won't sound right. And if the decay is too high, it starts turning into that laser sound. So we just want a nice little pitch attack at the beginning. Then we're going to bring down the cutoff. And the envelope 2 amount. You can just dial that in until you're happy.